see several people joined us online. Thank you all. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'll introduce myself and then my colleagues here. My name is Brian Foley. I'm a professor over in secondary education department. And work with new teachers and in-service teachers. Cool. And Jenny.
So I'm Jenny Vandergon. I'm in the biology department here. And so I was a high school bio teacher in my past life. And so I've always been interested in science education. And I work very closely with Brian and Norm on a lot of teacher initiatives.
Just sliding around to the other game.
Okay. And my name is Norm Hare, and I direct the science education programs over there for credentials and masters and so forth. So if you are interested in a biology credential or any of the science credentials, please come my direction. Give me an email and we'll try to advise.
All right, and if you have questions, go ahead and use the chat. We're gonna sort of go over some of the basics about how to become a teacher and some of the resources that are available for everybody who wants to do that. So first of all, why would you want to be a teacher? There's lots of great reasons. Obviously being a teacher, you give back to the community, you're helping young people sort of get the skills that they need to be successful. But it's also a great job. You get good benefits. There's great job security. I mean, science teachers are in demand and math teachers all across the world. I know people that teach in international schools in Hong Kong and different places. So getting a teaching credential is great job security and great mobility. And the pay is not as bad as you might have heard. Starting salary about 65,000. It goes up from there. Some of the top salaries are over 100,000 a year, and you can increase that with more education and things like that. But that's off in the future. Of course, you get your summers off. Summers are really important. So you're teaching about 180 days a year, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of the few jobs where you can just talk math or talk science all day long, and of course you get to work with young people, which is really one of the main attractions, I would say. Cool. We have this nice quote from one of our noise students. We'll explain what noise is in a little bit. But just talking about some of the reasons you'd want to be a science teacher.
Can you move your?
It won't be there in the recording.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with that. All right. And by the way, we are recording this, so. All right. So, how does one become a teacher? What are the steps in the process? There's a lot of questions about this. First of all, you need to learn your subject. You need to learn math. You need to learn your science subject that you want to teach. Get a bachelor's degree, and then you're going to go and get what's called a preliminary credential. That's the current terminology in the state of California. That's what we do in the credential programs here at CSUN and at many other schools. And then once you finish your credential, you go get hired, get a teaching job, and start teaching. If you want to, after that, you can add more subjects. So let's say you want to add a different science, or you want to add a math credential to a science credential, that sort of thing. You can do that afterwards. And then you need to get your clear credential. You have 5 years to what we call clearing your credential. That's typically done through a program at the school district where you're hired. We do have a clear credential program, also called an induction program here at CSUN, but most people end up doing it through their district. Cool. And if you want to continue on, we have some excellent master's degrees that you might be interested in. Some people were asking about the terminology. A multiple subject credential is typically what you get if you want to teach elementary school, and a single subject credential is what you get if you're going to teach in middle or high school. And so that's mostly what we're talking about today, is the single subject credential. There are a few single subject people that end up teaching in elementary school, especially the art teachers and music teachers, some of those. But for math and science, it's typically you're in the middle school or high school. Feel free to jump in.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So the different ways to get a credential here at CSUN, we have 4 pathways to do that. The most common one is the traditional program. You are in a traditional program, you're essentially taking classes at your own pace. It can be done in typically 3 or 4 semesters. Some people try and do it in 2, but that's pretty rare. We'll talk about what's in the credential program in a little bit. And that would include 2 semesters of student teaching. Our ACT or accelerated program does the whole credential in 2 semesters, starting in the fall and then finishing in May. So it's the fastest way to get your credential. And that is you take a lot of your classes together with the ACT group. So that's a really nice way to get your credential. It is very intense. So we don't recommend people try and keep a job or do much else other than the ACT program. That's pretty much all you're going to have time for. Some people, and this is actually pretty common in math and science because there is such a demand for teachers, get hired before they get their credential done. If you do that, you have to go into what we call the intern program. So essentially you're teaching a full day in a school, you're hired by that school, getting a paycheck and teaching a full day and then taking credential classes in the evening. That can be a tough way to go. They don't give you a lot of help. So we don't necessarily recommend that unless you've got some teaching experience already. But like we said, there's such a need for teachers out there. They're not even waiting for people to finish that credential. We also have the FYI JYI program in the math department. This is what we call a blended program where you're working on your credential as an undergraduate. And if you're going to do that, you're probably already doing it. So, but that is available. So if somebody was like a freshman or sophomore, that would be something they could sign into. Okay, so what do you need to get into the credential program? First of all, like you said, you need a bachelor's degree. The minimum GPA is 2.67 or 2.75 in the last 60 units. You have to do something called the basic skills. That often can be done with coursework, undergraduate coursework. If it's, I think it's a B or better, is that right? Or if you don't have the coursework, you can take the CBEST exam. You also need to demonstrate that you know your subject matter. You need to have either a degree in the subject you want to teach, or you can take an exam called the CSET that will sort of basically demonstrate that you have that subject matter knowledge that you need. And I'll talk a little bit more about the CSET in a minute. Also required for getting into the credential is something called the early field experience. You also need fingerprinting, TB tests, some letters of recommendation, and to get your CPR certificate. If you want to do the traditional program, you can apply for either the fall or spring semester. The deadline for fall is July 1st. The deadline for spring is December 1st. The ACT program only accepts applications in the fall. So if you want to do that, you have to only do the fall. So that's the July 1st deadline. All right, so I mentioned the CSET. If you do need the CSET, and this happens if your degree is in another subject than you're going to be teaching. So, for example, if you're an engineer or something in science, I'm sure you have a lot of good science knowledge, but you need to take that CSET to demonstrate it.
So first of all, as Brian was saying, if you have a degree in one of the that has a title in one of the credentialing areas, then you do not need to take the CSET. That's sufficient. So for example, if you are a biology major and you graduate with a degree in biology, that satisfies the subject matter requirement. If you're chemistry, then you want to teach chemistry, it satisfies that. And it satisfies it not only for the biology, but for the general science. Similarly, if you're a math major, you do not need to take the CSET. So you only need to take the CSET if you're undergraduate or graduate degrees that you have titles which do not match one of the credentialing areas. So on the slide that Brian was showing you just a moment ago, you can get credentialed in mathematics or in biology or chemistry or geoscience or physics, or also just general science. So those are all different areas that we cover. Those are all STEM credentials. you can add on to that other credentials like computer science and so forth. But in terms of the basic credentials, those are the basic credentialing areas. So once again, if you have a degree in one of those areas where the title is, has the term biology, chemistry, physics, geology, geoscience, or math in it, then you will not need to take the CSET. Otherwise, you would. And we'll introduce a little bit later on. We have these free CSET prep courses for you that you would help prepare you for that. So there's avenues for you to meet the subject matter requirement.
Thank you. All right, let's turn that back on. All right, can you hear me okay? All right, great. All right, yeah, and yeah, as Norm was saying, we've got these tests. A lot of people these days do not need those tests, but we do have the free CSET courses. And that's gonna be good if you need to take the CSET. It's been a long time since you took some of those subjects. You need a refresher on geoscience or something like that. The MISTI courses that we've got are really good. You can also find those just by Googling CSUN MISTI, MSTI, and find out all about those courses. Yeah.
If I could just say one thing about that too, that you'll notice there's a link there that says free CSET. We now offer actually $1,000 when you get admitted to the program. Basically reimburses all of your application costs, all of the things that are required for getting into the program. So just be aware, if you were a math or science teacher, talk to me, Norm here, and I will direct you to the person who can basically reimburse you that $1,000 for the application.
Okay, we mentioned before the early field experience. There's often get some questions about the early field experience. There's a lot of variability on that, on what counts as early field experience. And pretty much anything where you're working with kids, working with young people, teenagers, will count. You just need to get someone to sign off that you've been working during that time. It could be something where you're being paid, whether you're a teaching assistant or working at a camp or something, or you could be volunteering. You could be, a soccer coach or working with a scout troop or something.
And I also threw in there's some like
activities you can do at school sites like STEM days and STEM nights. They're always looking for volunteers, and it's really a fun way to see if you like working with kids.
Thanks. All right, so let's see. Another great way to get those 45 hours is to be a substitute teacher. I'm putting this on just because there's a real shortage of substitute teachers right now, and it hurts the other teachers because they're having to cover for they have one period off a day and they're having to fill in because there's no subs filling in different classes. So it helps everybody if we have more substitutes, and it pays pretty well, and it's a good way to get familiar with the classroom, get sort of your teacher legs under you. To be a sub, all you need is a bachelor's degree, and you need what we call the basic skills, with that CBEST test, and fingerprints and a lot of paperwork. But yeah, that's a great option and a great way to get those hours done. Cool. All right. This is the good part. We have lots of funding for future teachers. I'm gonna just mention a few of these, and we're gonna go into detail on a couple of them later. We've got the residency grants for $35,000, which is really a nice deal. The noise scholarship, the deadline is coming up very soon. It can be up $15,000 for a year. Also the Golden State grants. A lot of our students got Golden State this year. That's a really good program as well. A lot of these, there's some strings attached. You've got some commitment. You've got to commit to teach for a certain amount of time. And if you don't end up teaching, then you have to pay the money back. So beware of those things as well. Unfortunately, we don't have Pell Grants at the moment, which is a bit of a problem. We're working on getting those back soon. Okay, what's in the credential program? So the credential program is a lot of classes. It's 36 units, 10 classes, and you have to do student teaching as well. So it can be done in 2 semesters, but like I said, it's a lot of work. do that. So it's easier to spread it out to 3 or 4. The classes are all in the evening. We don't start any classes until 4 o'clock. And in fact, some of the classes start a little later than that because of the late starts that the schools are doing nowadays. And some of them are online, a number of them are in person, so it's going to be a sort of variety of class types. The student teaching is kind of one of the main parts of the credential program. You're going to be student teaching for 2 semesters. You'll get assigned to a school and assigned to a mentor teacher, and you'll be teaching with them in their classroom. There's also a university supervisor that will come observe and give some feedback. Typically, we're doing 1 semester in middle school and 1 semester in high school. And that first semester, you start off, you just be observing, and then slowly, gradually take over 1 period. In the second semester, you're going to be teaching 2 periods for the whole semester. And that why the whole semester, we mean the school semester. So even though you'll be done with CSUN in May, you got to keep teaching till the end of the school year. And there's something at the end of the program called the EdTPA. You got to pass the EdTPA assessment in order to get your credential. That goes directly to the CTC, or the California Teachers Commission, like that. We do have a program called the Intent to Apply program. If you're an undergraduate and you want to take some of those courses early, you can get into the ITA program. Or if you've already finished your bachelor's but you don't have, say, the CSET or something, the ITA is a way to get some of those classes done. A couple more quotes from some of our students talking about why they wanted to be a teacher. It's a good time to check and see if there's any questions as well. Yeah, Terry.
I have some questions.
Huh.
Okay. They go back a little ways. You mentioned you teach about 180 days a year, and I know out there, I could hear it. Do you get paid in the summer? Or are you not paid for those summer months?
Technically, you're not paid for those summer months, but most teachers spread their paychecks throughout the year so that they don't have 3 months with no paycheck.
Okay,
Right.
so
Your pay
it's
is for
possible
9
to
months.
do that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's also
So
other
other
opportunities.
opportunities.
And
When I was a high school teacher, I used to teach little kids, actually, just for fun in the summer, and made money doing that. And also, when you do some professional developments, you actually get a chance to earn money sometimes through those. So the summer allows you the opportunity for flexibility and also to make a little extra money. So
Oh, lots of things you can do. Yeah.
I have a couple more questions. You mentioned you need the degree, and then you said something about basic skills, and you said courses or CBEST.
Yeah.
What do you mean by you could meet the basic skills requirements with courses?
Yeah, this is relatively new, just in the last few years. They've started, so the basic skills has 3 parts. There's a math, a reading, and a writing aspect to basic skills. And if you have a writing course on your transcript, or a reading course, I don't know what counts as a reading course exactly, or a math course.
Might be a literature course.
Yeah, something like that. Then you're just waived for that part of the CBEST. And so some people end up taking one of the 3 parts that they need to finish that requirement.
Okay,
And because it's a little complicated to know if you have a course that passes it, it's actually not required for admission to the credential program. What happens is our credential office will look at the transcripts in your first semester and decide if you passed it or not. And if not, then you have to take part of the CBEST.
gotcha. My next question, and the one we get a lot of questions on and have over many years, is the subject matter part. And you said degree, classes, or CSET.
Right.
And Ginny can probably chime in on that, because a lot of students, and they say, I got a degree sometime back and I need to be cleared so that I don't have to take the CSET. We get that a lot. So if you could kind of clarify.
Yeah, so actually, we went through the process of writing for that waiver, and got the okay, so as long as you had done a biology degree, at least your senior year part of it at CSUN, you actually were waived from having to take the CSAT. And then the state went back to the old way of saying, okay, well, if you have a degree in biology, you can be waived from it. So now it doesn't matter where you got your degree. We can look and just make sure your transcripts are a true biology degree, and then you're eligible for the waiver. So you don't have to take any of the exams.
Okay, so biology majors from CSUN do not have to take the CSAT.
No,
Oh.
and there's two parts to the CSAT. I don't know if you
Okay.
explained that. There's a foundational science, which is what makes you eligible to teach middle school.
Okay,
But you need that one to get the more subject specific, and they've now waived that one too. So if you get a biology degree, the state agrees that you have enough science for all the other ones, because if you do get a biology degree, you take chemistry, you take physics and things like that. So then you are now eligible not only to teach biology, but you can also teach middle school science, or
Okay.
sometimes there's a 9th grade science that you would be eligible for teaching too.
okay. I have a couple other questions. I'm full of questions.
I just want to make a point about this. The rule with waiving the CSAT, it's really dumb. The name of your degree has to match the thing you're going to teach. So we have a lot of problems for our social science teachers, because they all have history degrees and the name doesn't match.
Okay,
So it's a little strange that way, but yeah, for biology and math, it works great. And physics and chemistry, those degrees are great because they have the name right in them.
what about if a student was, for example, a biochemistry major, but they wanted to teach biology? Is that okay,
I
or
think that's okay, right?
no go?
That's a very good question.
So I just was talking to a student last night who went up to Berkeley and he got his degree in chemical biology, which is, I'd never heard the term, because you're normally thinking of biochemistry. And he did not get it waived. He actually had to take the CSAT. That was Shark, yeah, at Granada Hills. So the rules are somewhat confusing, but I just want to emphasize that if for some reason you need to take the CSAT exam, again, we offer workshops and so forth just to make sure you're fully prepared for that. And again, if you have a degree in, related field, generally it's pretty easy to pass those exams.
And then
This came from an education meeting, talking about subject matter, and the credential office director pulled up a spreadsheet of what is accepted for like biology and things like that. So what Dr. Hare just said is true. You can't, it's got to match what the California Department of Education says is equivalent. So for example, in biology, if you get a degree in biochemistry, which includes some biology, you're not eligible to teach biology, but you are eligible to teach chemistry. It is one of the accepted degrees for chemistry. And physical, if you want to be a PE teacher and you take kinesiology, it doesn't count, interestingly. But that's a moving target, and they're constantly reevaluating
Yeah, it's been
the
changing.
courses of those types of credentials so that they can make it more clear. And they'll just have a list that they'll eventually publish, because this isn't actually published yet, as to what counts for, because most people get the traditional degrees, but sometimes you have these kind of strange degrees and then they have to be evaluated. So
Yeah. Can I ask one more question?
Please.
You mentioned the word geoscience. I'm assuming that's more geology kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll let you do that one.
So yeah, the credential is actually called geoscience, but it really is a poor name. It's really earth and space science. It includes astronomy, it includes geology, it includes meteorology, it includes any of those types of sciences that are kind of holistic sciences at the large scale. Yeah, so again, if you have a geology degree, you're going to qualify. And if you have a atmospheric science a degree, we have students who've had atmospheric science, they may qualify. And it's, I think that Dr. Foley mentioned
degrees that are planetary science.
yeah, planetary science and so forth. So the Commission for Teacher Credentialing is the ones who set the standards. And right now it is a moving target, as they say, because some things that did not qualify before are now qualified. So the thing is that just make sure you talk to CCTC, and that's a process of the whole credentialing thing. So we'll guide you through that process. And so there's a lot in this workshop, but people get their credentials. So don't worry, there's a long checklist, but it's not as bad as it sounds.
We're talking about the CSUN Noise program, which is an NSF sponsored program that we've had. Actually, this is our third round, so we've had it for over 15 years now. And myself and Norm have been involved since the beginning, and then Brian came on when he got hired onto the campus. Actually, I guess maybe you were from the beginning too, because it was after you came here. Anyway, we do monthly activities with to kind of give a cohort experience, and the picture shows this, right? And we talk about things that are pertinent to the scholars. So we'll talk about technology, we'll talk about classroom management, we'll talk about just how to get through your first year of teaching, things like that. And then we do some fun things, and we do some outreach. And so one of the outreach activities we do is the Pi Day, which will be on Pi Day this year, 3/14/2023. And it's gonna, oh yeah, that's right, it's gonna be 2024. I'm sorry, I just can't admit to the fact that we're changing years and we're going on here. What happened in 19? So anyway, that's also a possibility. But maybe, Sai, you want to talk, or do you guys want to talk about being?
Yeah, I didn't should I log in?
You can come up here.
Come on
and
over.
just,
Yeah, come on up. While Sai comes up here, I'll make a plug for so we have two programs with Noise. We've got the Noise Scholars, who are people who are committed to becoming teachers. And they get $15,000 and a commitment that they agree that they're going to teach for 2 years in a high need school. And we also have a Noise intern program, and this is for people that are interested in teaching and want to sort of find out what it's about, but have not yet committed. And so we have one of each here. Sai, do you want to lead us off here?
Hello, I'm Sai Main. I am a Noise scholar. I started, what was that, spring of this year, spring of 23.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience. I mean, the money's been nice, but what was unexpected was just the community aspect of it. That's been a lot of fun, meeting with other like-minded people, and going through this journey of becoming a student teacher and talking to different people, we read articles too about that are very helpful in the setup for being a teacher. And obviously the money's been nice, but there's also a lot of other opportunities, there's professional development opportunities, conferences that these guys send people to. So I'm going to go to my first one next in February.
In
So I can't wait. Yeah. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience. So
cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yo, what's up? My name's Anthony. Just like how Sai said, the money's been nice. I'm only an intern right now, so I don't get as much, but I don't have any commitment to teaching. I'm still in my undergrad, and it's been really nice having a community of people who all are teachers, who all have really good ideas of like classroom management, how to deal with kids. And I'm really just absorbing all the advice right now for when I do start teaching really soon. I'll be ready.
You're gonna go for the scholarship?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention that when it comes to like the commitment to teaching a high needs district, there are so many high needs districts around here. LAUSD, even up. I live in Palmdale, but even Palmdale was considered high needs. So it's not difficult to find a high needs district near you. So if that's something that is a concern of yours, you can look into that, but they're everywhere. So
Yeah, pretty much all.
so I guess so the question was, what kind of teacher do I want to be? I want to be a math teacher that it makes that teaches through discovery instead of teaches through lecture, and then helps to inspire children. I'm going to steal yours. Inspire children to love math, because that's I think we're on the same page.
On the same thing.
We're on the same page.
And then similarly, I said I want to be someone who I want to be a teacher that makes math more fun, makes it less painful. I want students to hate it a little bit less. So yeah, like how Sai said, teach through discovery, make it fun.
How did you get the idea you wanted to teach?
I had really good teachers in high school that really believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, in math especially. And so I think it's hard to describe like the feeling you get when someone supports you and you don't really believe in yourself. And I hope I can do that for students in the future. So, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I have another question,
Yeah.
unless there's questions in the chat. One of the programs you mentioned was the FYIJYI, which if I'm understanding correctly, they can be in the credential program while they're earning their bachelor.
Yeah,
But is that only for math?
at the moment, it's only for math. Yeah, we've talked about trying to do that in science for a while, but it's a little complicated because I don't know, Jenny can answer this question much better than me. She's been working on a plan for it for a while.
But right now, it's only for math.
Yeah, math, history, and English are the only
Oh.
JYI, FYI programs.
Is that because those subjects are in great need, or just because you have found a way to
No,
make it work?
It's a lot of paperwork. We just, well, some subjects have been a little ahead of the game. Yeah, no, we'll get there. We're working.
And I have another question.
Mhm.
I've worked here a long time. I know there are students in like an undergrad credential. Obviously, they're not bio majors, but is it possible for someone to come in as a freshman, get the bachelor and the credential at the same time?
Well, that's what the FYI program is.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
4-year integrated program.
Okay.
That's the idea there. So 4-year integrated or junior year integrated is what
Okay,
those two programs
But
mean.
you said it's
And we'll
history,
get that in-
English, and math only.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that in bios one of these days.
Okay, all right, great.
Cool. I just want to mention this other grant program. I mentioned the $35,000 stipend. This is for the CSUN LUSD residency program. Residency is sort of the hot topic in education right now. And the state has a lot of money for these residency programs. And we just last year, first it was 15,000, then it was 20,000. Now it's up to 35,000. But it does come with this commitment. So you're committing to teach in the district for 4 years after your credential. And that so that's a commitment and it's fairly long. But on the other hand, if you're planning to teach in LA Unified anyway, it's kind of free money. So it's a really good program. We do the student teaching in that is slightly changed from the traditional student teaching. We have you stay in the same school for the whole year. But mostly it's the same. There's a little caveat. Most of our residents are in the ACT program, but traditional students are eligible as long as they start student teaching in the fall. So that's just the one caveat, because you got to spend the whole school year in the program. And then just to also mention, we've these, like I said, these residency programs keep coming. So we also have a residency with a group of charter schools called the Los Angeles Charter Residency Consortium. It's the same deal as with LA Unified, but you've got to teach within one of those charter schools. And there's the link to that if you want some more information there.
Could you tell us uninitiated people the difference between a charter and a non-charter school? I don't have children in school,
Sure.
so I have no idea what that means.
It's a complicated system of schools that we have. So essentially, a charter school is a public school. It's funded by public money, but it's not in a school district. And so it's sort of, they write a charter, which is a document about how they're going to be run, and they're sort of independent, somewhat independent, because they still have to have their charter approved by an agency, which is often the school district. But they're fairly independent. And then we've got district charters, which are in the district still, but somewhat independent.
Wow.
The language is complicated. And we've got something called pilot schools, which are also district schools that are semi-independent. And then you've got private schools or non-public schools.
And is it true that if someone works in a private school, they don't need the preliminary credential, clear credential? Is that true?
So I can answer that. Because I actually.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I started my life off as a high school biology teacher at a Catholic school. And yes, I needed a credential there. But they hired me on an emergency because actually they were hiring everybody on emergency credentials at that time because it was when they were in desperate needs. I'm not going to give you the date because I don't want you to know. No, I was kidding. It was in the 80s, but we had the same thing happen in the 2000s too. So I worked on my credential while I was teaching. Some private schools don't require it. For some private schools, you can get more money if you have the credential when you get hired by them. So
They're not
depends.
required to do
No.
it the way public schools are, but many private schools want to see that credential.
Yeah, so it's an advantage, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker.
I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned in the beginning the kind of the steps, and that after you get the preliminary and the clear credential, that a person might go to get a master's degree. Why would someone who's a teacher, do they need a master's? Is it to get more money? Is it to move into different jobs? What would be the purpose of a teacher?
I feel like I paid you to ask that question.
I'm sorry, I'm just curious.
No, I love it.
So.
Yes, we have a number of master's programs, and at CSUN, we really recommend that you get your credential. First, go out and teach a little bit, and then come back and get the master's. And that's kind of particular to CSUN. A lot of schools do a combined master and credential, but I think the master part of that is kind of weak. We think our master's programs are a lot more effective and meaningful, just because we separate the two. But the advantage of the master's is typically it will increase you on the salary scale. So it'll move you up. You get a little higher pay if you have that master's degree. Also, just adding more units also moves you up that scale. So that's an advantage. And the master's program, Norm and I teach in the science education master's program here. And we also have a math education and education technology. And these are chances to really deepen your understanding of a subject matter or some tools. You want to say more about that, Norm?
Yes. So many of our teachers, after they graduate with their credential program, they decide to come back for a master's, and ours is a master's in science education. We also have a master's in mathematics education. So rather than just being in a general master's program with people who teach a variety of things, you're in a program that specializes on the subject that you teach. And we have a very strong cohorts. We're now finishing our 10th cohort of those who have earned are earning their master's degree in science education. And actually next year we're going to offer the master's program in a fully online format, with teachers actually not only throughout the state, but potentially throughout the country and the world. So it's a way to become more proficient in what you do, but also just to become a teacher leader. In other words, a leader in your discipline, where you can help other teachers and so forth become better in your craft.
And this is our master's group, right?
Right. Yeah, that's an example of our master's group and so forth at one of our many projects.
Awesome. Thank you for that question. Yeah, that's great. I've got just a couple of more, and then we've got time for more questions. Misty is up next. Actually, Norm, why don't you tell about Misty?
Yeah, so Misty is a California State University sponsored project, and most of the campuses within the CSU are successful in writing grants proposals for it, getting it funded, and we have a long history here at Cal State Northridge. As far as its interest to you, Misty supports the CSET prep workshops, also CBEST prep workshops. So if you have any concerns about passing those exams and so forth, just click onto the Misty page and you can register and then participate in the next ones. We also have full video sets from the workshops, as well as we're developing a whole video library of targeted problem solving, like for the physics one, and we're going to do it for the chemistry and so forth as well, so that you can enhance your background knowledge and make sure that you not only pass the exam, but also have the skills to be able to teach those subjects well. We also offer $1,000 again when you get admitted to the program, which just reimburses you for all of your expenses and so forth to get into the credential program. And we work the Misty Project works in tandem with the other projects that Brian was talking about, like, for example, the Noise Project and so forth as well. So there's a number of other things, like we sponsor people to work in research laboratories like the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where they can get research experience, as well as knowing about how to share those research experiences and turn them into educational experiences for their future students. So there's a lot going on there, and we hope to see you.
All right, so starting, if you're interested, you might start by applying to the Noise program. There's also credential information sessions, which will go into more detail about the application that you need to complete. There's also counselors. So we've got Natalie Howe in the math department, very familiar with all these programs and can help you out with getting started on that. And in the science departments, Terry's here with us. Thank you for being here. And in the other departments as well. And so these are also great resources to get started, to get on your way towards becoming a teacher. Oh, just to mention, we also do have teachers in residence. They're great mentors and advisors, and often welcome people into their classrooms and things. So Bryant Cooper is our math teacher in residence, and Dylan Lopez is our chemistry science teacher in residence. And so they are often found on the Discord and other places if you want to find out more about it. All right, so we just got a couple more minutes for questions. I remember you had asked us about the college teaching. That's not really our specialty, but
I just kind of blasted all the questions, and whichever ones you can answer is great.
yeah.
We can talk about, so for the community college, in terms of community college teaching, you need at least a master's. And so, but if you have a PhD, you can also apply. If you want a full-time job at a community college, you almost certainly have to have a PhD, at least here in Southern California. So most of the master's students that teach there, not that there aren't some that actually get full-time jobs there. Most of them are part-timers and they work at other institutions. But if you have a PhD, you can also teach, and it's a great avenue for you with your doctorate if you really are interested in mostly teaching, because that's mostly what you do at the community college level. And then for teaching at the college level, it again depends upon what your degree is in, and then usually they're in sciences. Usually you have to do a PhD, then you have to do a postdoc, and show evidence of research and publications and grant writing. We're doing searches right now. Those are the kinds of things we're looking for in our department. So I see that I'm like all lit up here.
And some people like Ginny teach first and then go back and get a PhD and become professors.
Yep.
So there you go.
That's right.
Can I add, Jeannie? So I
ahead.
think if you do want to be a community college instructors full-time, it's possible, because I have graduated 2 master students from CSUN, from my department, chemistry degree. 2 of them, right after they finished their chemistry masters, they got a full-time job. One is a tenure track, became a professor at Cerro Coastal Community College, which is in the north area, California. The other one who just graduated last semester in the spring, and she got a full-time instructor job at another community college, which is in Palm Springs, at the College of Desert. So it's possible, but it's gonna be definitely, you have to prepare well when you are in the program, right? Getting ready for some teaching experience, and then prepare yourself with very strong knowledge background, and work on your interview skills and all of that.
Yeah, you definitely need like a good lesson to teach with in that interview, for sure. Spark, did you have a question?
I just wanted to add something about about the adjunct position, because I'm in quick programming internship, as you're aware of. Like, it's been like
Why don't you come up here so people can hear you? Yeah.
We can record it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I am admitted to a FIT program, which is like Future Instructor and Training at College of the Canyons. It started actually last January. And I'm doing it simultaneously with credentials. So I know that they, like, for any kind of full-time position as a instructor, college instructor, like they have to have like 2 to 5 years of adjunct position experience, then to be able to apply for a tenure track. Otherwise, like they won't normally at the beginning, they won't give like a full-time job. And then they are like some community colleges, like similar to College of the Canyons, that they accept master's degree, rather like you don't have to have PhD. However, for like, as Jenny said, for like research positions or like just faculty as like a faculty member of a department, like the PhD and like proposal writing for grant and everything like that would be necessary and essential. So, but other than that, like first, normally don't aim for full-time position as an instructor. Normally it starts with like adjunct position. That's what they call, like that's the term. It's like the part-time, the same thing as part-time. So 2 to 5 years of adjunct, and then like they will actually like evaluate your performance, and then afterwards they will just move forward with that.
And you have your master's, right?
I do have my master's. I have actually another master's, so like from another country,
Oh.
but like I'm finishing my master's at CSUN in geophysics. But I actually got admitted to a PhD position because I wanted to pursue in like a faculty, like just becoming a faculty and then just pursue my research. However, like my career path changed somewhere between the line, and then I applied for credentials, and I thought that would be a like I found it more like pleasing to teach in K-12 rather than just like because I can do both. Like I can do research at the same time as teaching, which is something that I'm passionate about. So because I've been teaching like different subjects like in different communities like voluntarily for a while, and then so I thought, why not, like let's just make it profession out of it. So that's
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. I think we want to wrap this up pretty quickly. Is there any last questions before we end for today? Yeah, we've got people's emails. So we'll be editing this recording because of all the technical problems and sending this out very soon. Cool. And thanks to you all for showing up. That's great.
Thank you.